Good morning everyone. In our previous video, we have discussed summary, theme, title and setting of the story The Blue Bead, and today we'll be continuing with the workbook reading and one page of textbook reading as well. By the end of this video, you will be able to learn about the character of Sibia, learn about the style and critical appreciation of the story, learn and understand the text of the story The Blue Bead with difficult words from page 93 and answer the related questions. Let us first of all discuss the character of the protagonist Sibia. Sibia is a poor and brave girl. She is a 12-year-old Indian girl with ebony hair and great eyes. She is marked for work since her childhood. During her childhood, she husked corn, gathered sticks, put dung to dry, cooked food, and cut grass for fodder. Let us discuss the meanings, children. Ebony, black. Husked corn, remove the shell of corn. Fodder, coarse food for animals. So children, Sibia is the protagonist of the story. She is a poor and brave girl of 12 years who is the center of attraction. She is an Indian girl with ebony hair and great eyes. Since her childhood, she had been husking corn, gathering sticks, putting dung to dry, cooking food, and cutting grass for fodder. She has never owned anything but a rag. She does not have any money to buy glass beads from the bazaar, but she is aware of the beauty of the elegant clothes. Elegant, fine. So Sibia has just owned a rag and nothing else. She does not have any money to buy glass beads, but she is aware of the beauty of fine clothes in the market. She is fearless, active and alert. She goes with her parents and brothers all through the jungle to the little town at the railhead where there is a bazaar. She walks through all the milling people. Like many young girls of her age, she is also attracted by several wonderful things in the bazaar. Milling people means moving around in large mass. So children, Sibia is fearless, active and alert. She goes with her parents and brothers all through the jungle to the little town at the railhead where there is a bazaar. She walks through a huge crowd of people. There she appreciates little things like Kashmiri merchants selling silk, smell of wonderful dressing of cloth, sweet meats, etc. Like many girls of her age, she too gets attracted to different things. She goes with her mother and some other women to get paper grass from the cliff above the river. Then she sells it to the agent. She toils all the day at this work. She skips along with the sickle and homemade hay fork beside her mother. So Sibia works very hard along with her mother. She goes to get paper grass from the cliffs which she sells to the agent. She jumps along with her sickle and hay fork beside her mother. She is brave, selfless and helpful. She displays a rare courage and presence of mind in saving the life of a Gujjar woman from the crocodile. It is really an act of heroism. But she is simple, modest and humble and does not brag about her act of saving the woman's life. Let us discuss the meanings, children. Modest, neither bold nor self-assertive. Brag, boast. So Sibia's other qualities are being brave, selfless and helpful. Sibia shows utmost courage when she saves the life of a Gujjar woman from the crocodile. This act of hers is really heroic. But Sibia chooses not to brag about this act of hers. She remains simple and modest. She is brave, laborious, and extremely observant. At the end of the story, when her mother asks her what happened to her, she responds by telling her about the blue bead she has found and not of her act of saving the life of a Gujjar woman. So at the end of the story, Sibia's mother asks her what happened to her since she is worried about Sibia as Sibia has not returned home. Sibia responds that she has found a blue bead. She feels ecstatic on talking about the blue bead which projects her innocence and childlike quality. Let us quickly read the style of the story. The writer makes use of long sentences to describe the situations and characters. The sentences are involved, complex, and cumbersome. Let us discuss the meanings, children. Involved, difficult to understand. Complex, not easy to deal with or not easy to understand. Cumbersome, complicated. Children, the writer uses long sentences in the story to describe the events and the characters. The sentences are difficult to understand and are complicated. Some of them are not easily intelligible. One has to read some of the sentences twice to comprehend the full meaning. The style is neither simple nor lucid. On the other hand, the style used to tell story is learned and poetic. Let us discuss the meanings, children. Not easily intelligible, not clear enough to be understood. Comprehend, understand. Lucid, clearly expressed or easy to understand. Learned, showing learning and knowledge. Children, some of the sentences used in the story are not even clear enough to be understood. The style of the story writing is neither simple nor it is clearly expressed. On the other hand, the writing or the language of the story is such that cannot be understood by ordinary readers in one reading. The language used here is like the language of a poem where one has to find the deeper meaning. The use of metaphor mugger for the big crocodile that is a threat to everyone is appropriate. The dawn-colored silks that poured like cream and she came leaping like a rock goat are beautiful similes. Children, mugger has been used as a metaphor. Mugger means someone who robs, and here it means taking lives of humans. Silks that poured like cream, it's a simile. Smooth silk is compared to cream. Leaping like a rock goat, it is again a simile. Sibia has been compared to a quick rock goat. So children, the writer uses the metaphor mugger for the crocodile, which means that he is a threat to everyone. The writer also uses various similes to make the writing more effective. She compares the orange-colored silk cloth to cream being poured smoothly and Sibia leaping like a quick rock goat. These are examples of beautiful similes. In order to emphasize certain points, the author has used inversions, such as, down below them ran the broad river. From boulder to boulder, she came leaping. Let us see what is an inversion. Inversion is a term used to refer to the inverting of the normal word order in a sentence or a phrase. Writers use inversion to maintain a particular rhyme scheme in poetry or to emphasize a specific word in prose. So children, the writer has also used inversions to emphasize on certain instances or words. She says, down below them ran the broad river, instead of saying the broad river ran down below. She also says, from boulder to boulder, Sibia came leaping, instead of saying Sibia came leaping from boulder to boulder. She has done so to emphasize certain things. Let us read the critical appreciation, children. Detailed description. The story begins with detailed description of the crocodile before shifting to Sibia's perspective. The mugger crocodile, blackish brown above and yellowy white under, lay motionless, able to wait forever till food came. His mouth, running almost the whole length of his head, was closed and fixed in that evil, bony smile. Every minute detail about the crocodile is given. So children, the writer has given due importance to even the minutest details in the story. The story begins with a detailed description of the crocodile before the writer talks about the protagonist, Sebia. The mugger crocodile, blackish brown above and yellowy white under, lay motionless, able to wait forever till food came. His mouth, running almost the whole length of his head, was closed and fixed in that evil, bony smile, clearly state how minutely the writer has talked about the appearance of the crocodile. Sebia, the protagonist of the story, is also described in the same way, with her ebony hair and great eyes and her skill of oiled brown cream. She was a happy child woman about 12 years old. Let us discuss the meanings, children. Protagonist, the main character. Ebony, black. Child, woman. Now this phrase has been used for Sebia. This means, though a child, Sebia performed the household tasks like grown-up women. So children, not only the crocodile, but Sebia too has been described by the writer with the same minute details. She writes, with her ebony hair and great eyes, and her skin of oiled brown cream, she was a happy child woman about 12 years old. By using the phrase happy child woman, she again shows that Sebia did household tasks like a grown-up woman. Let us discuss the pictorial quality of the story. Pictorial quality means something illustrated or expressed in pictures. The writer has used her artistic skill in creating pictures in the story. She has created a beautiful picture of the Gujjar women by using appropriate and exact words. So children, the writer Nora Burke is fond of creating various imageries in her stories. Here she has used her artistic skill in creating pictures in the story. She has created a beautiful image of the Gujjar women which the readers can even visualize. They wore trousers tight and wrinkled at the ankles, and in their ears large silver rings made out of melted rupees, and one of them was clinking a stick against the big brass gharas in which they fetched water from the river for the camp, to see which ones were empty. This quality of creating pictures is poetic in nature. Children, they here refers to Gujjar women, and clinking means making a sharp ringing sound. So the image goes like the Gujjar women wore trousers which are tight and wrinkled at the ankles. They had large silver rings made of melted rupees in their ears. One of the Gujjar women was clinking a stick against her big brass pots in order to check the water level to see which pots were empty. It was the same pot which was used by them for fetching water from the river. This quality of creating pictures makes the reader realize and visualize the scenes which appear to be poetic. Let us read language and style. The writer makes use of long sentences to describe the situations and characters. The sentences are involved, complex and cumbersome. Let us discuss the meanings, children. Involved, difficult to understand. Complex, not easy to deal with or not easy to understand. Cumbersome means complicated. We have already discussed this, children, that the language and the style used by the author in the story is very difficult to be understood. The sentences are very complex and they are very complicated. Some of them are not easily intelligible. One has to read some of the sentences twice to comprehend the meaning. Not easily intelligible, not clearly understood. Comprehend is understand. So the sentences used in the story are not understood very easily. They are very difficult and one has to read them twice at times to understand what the writer wants to say. The style is neither simple nor lucid. Lucid, clearly expressed or easy. So the style in which the story is written is neither simple nor it can be understood. On the other hand, the style used to tell the story is learned and poetic. Learned means showing learning or knowledge. The language used here is like the language of a poem where one has to find the deeper meaning. Children, take out your treasure trove textbook, a collection of ICSE poems and short stories, and open your books at page number 93. Let us read the text of the story. From deep water came the crocodile, out of black water curved with whirlpools, and into the frill of gold shallows by the stepping stones. Let us discuss the meanings, children. Whirlpools, an area of water in a river or stream that moves very fast in a circle. Frill, a strip of gathered or pleated material sewn onto the garment or larger piece of material as a decorative edging or ornament. Shallows, a shallow place in a water body. So children, the writer begins the story with the explanation of how a crocodile is coming out of deep water. The writer also tells us that the water in which the crocodile lived was black in color, and when the crocodile was coming out, the water was in a whirlpool motion. So from deep water, the crocodile came to the shallows, that is, not so deep water, by the side of the stepping stones. These shallows looked like golden frill because of the sun rays falling onto them. So these are frills, children, and this rippled sand also looked like frill. He was twice the length of a tall man, and inside him, among the stones which he had swallowed to aid digestion, rolled a silver bracelet. Let us discuss the meanings, children. Swallowed, gulped. Aid, cured. So children, the writer shows us how huge the crocodile is. It was twice means double the length of a tall man, and the crocodile, as per the natural process, had swallowed some stones to help him digest his food. Children, rock swallowing is especially beneficial for crocodile who eat whole prey or animals with shells and tough bones. And within the stones, there was also a silver bracelet, which may also be an indication that the crocodile also ate humans. Timber was being floated down this great Indian river from forest further up, and there were sleepers lying stuck around these stones until someone came to dislodge them and send them on their way, or until floods lifted them and jostled them along. Let us discuss the meanings, children. Timber, log. Sleepers, heavy pieces of wood which may act as obstacles. Dislodge, to forcefully remove from a place. Jostled, pushed roughly. Children, we know that some people trade timber, so there must be some people who had cut timber and set it across the river which was floating down the great Indian river from the forests further up. And there were sleepers, that is, heavy pieces of wood that were stuck around the stones, until someone manually removed them and sent them on their way, or until floods or high pressure of water pushed them along. The crocodile had no need to hide himself. He came to rest in the glassy shallows among logs and balanced there on tiptoe, on the rippled sand, with only his raised eyes out of the water and raised nostrils breathing the clean sunny air. Let us discuss the meanings, children. Glassy shallows refers to glass-like shallow area in water. It is also a metaphor. Shallows have been given the quality of being glass-like without using as or like. Tiptoe, on the tips of the toes. Rippled sand, lightly covered with small waves. So children, the crocodile did not need to hide himself since he was a dangerous being and everyone else was scared of him. He had come to rest in the glassy shallows, that is, from deeper water to a place where the water was not that much deep. And glassy means showing reflection. He had come to rest on one of the logs. So he balanced there by placing the tip of his toe on the ground on the rippled sand where the log was situated. Only his eyes were out of water and his nostrils too were out to breathe clean air. Let us see the image of a crocodile with eyes and nostrils out of water. Around him, broad sparkling water travelled between cliffs and grass and forested hills. A jungle track came out of scrub each side and down to the sun-whitened stepping stones on which a little fly-catcher was flirting and trilling along. Let us discuss the meanings, children. Sparkling, shining. Cliffs, high steep area like a rock. Scrub, thorny bushes. Flycatcher, it's a type of bird that catches and eats flying insects. Flirting, flying quickly from one place to another. Trilling, turning or spilling around. So the sunlight fell on the shallow water where the crocodile was resting. So it was sparkling. So the crocodile was resting in between natural landscapes of cliff, grass and forested hills. So there were thorny bushes on each side of the place where the crocodile was resting. And from there came out a path. Down to the sun-whitened stepping stones, that is, stones looking white in the sunshine, there was a little flycatcher flying from one place to another to catch the insects. So this is a flycatcher, a bird which catches the insects to eat. The mugger crocodile, blackish brown above and yellowy white under, lay motionless, able to wait forever till food came. So children, mugger crocodile is the freshwater crocodile of the Indian subcontinent. We have also read that mugger refers to someone who robs. So this crocodile robbed the people of their lives. That is why it's a metaphor which depicts a threat to everyone. So the mugger crocodile, that is the freshwater crocodile of the Indian subcontinent, was blackish brown above and yellowy white under. That means the inch-thick hide was blackish brown in color and the upturned body of the crocodile was yellowy white in color. It was the vulnerable part of his body. He was lying motionless and he could wait forever till he got food. This antediluvian saurian, this prehistoric juggernaut, ferocious and formidable, a vast force in the water, propelled by the unimaginable and irresistible power of the huge tail, lay lapped by ripples, a throb in his throat. Let us discuss the meanings, children. Antediluvian, very old. Saurian, a large reptile including lizards and crocodiles. Juggernaut, extremely large and powerful. Ferocious, fierce. Formidable, very powerful. Propelled, pushed or driven forward. Irresistible, too powerful to be resisted. Lapped by ripples, covered with waves. Throb in his throat, a strong, steady beat. The crocodile was a very old creature and a large reptile, very powerful and ferocious, and had the capability to crush anyone under his weight. He could even kill any living being. Children, the crocodile's tail is the most powerful part of his body. It can actually shatter everything. So the crocodile was a huge force in water and had an unimaginable and irresistible power of huge tail. He lay covered in the ripples and had a strong, steady beat which could be noticed in his throat. His mouth, running almost the whole length of his head, was closed and fixed in that evil bony smile, and where the yellow underside came up to it, it was tinged with green. Let us discuss the meanings, children. Evil bony smile, a smile that can scare anybody. Tinged, colored with a slight shade or stain. So the crocodile's mouth was equal to the length of his head. That means it had a huge mouth, and when it was closed, it depicted as if the crocodile was giving an evil smile. Now, as we had discussed, the crocodile's body had two colors, blackish brown above, and the lower part from where the yellow underside came up to it, it had a little shade of green as well. So children, you can see this smile is referred to as evil bony smile. And you can notice this portion of the crocodile, which is said to be vulnerable, is yellowish green in color. So that is all for the day today, children. For your homework, do the homework given to you in the SNAP homework. Thank you.